On today's show, we're going to be talking about Atari's Labor Day 50% sale on. We're also going to be talking about PAX West, not East, but West over in Seattle, where Atari's showing off their latest and greatest stuff. And a pretty cool announcement about a game called Fatal Run. Hi, and welcome to Dadisajoke Weekend Report, episode 51. And we're going to get down to brass tacks right now. And I am totally sorry. I have my coffee, but I'm recording this at 1:38 p.m. Had some family over for brunch, hence this is why it's so late. Let's move this camera a little bit higher. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, let's do this again. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dadisajoke, Retro Rockin' Gamer, episode 51 of the Weekend Report. And let's get down to it. If you are a big Atari fan, what the hell are you waiting for? Get to Atari.com, and Atari's having a Labor Day sale for their hardware, their what's it called? Their merch. Everything's off at 50%. You can't go wrong if you're in the mood to pick up an Atari VCS, the new console. Best time to do it right now. Jump on it, and that's more or less it. That's huge. I mean, that's really big. Now, also, Atari is at a trade show called, for people who don't know, and I don't know what the acronym is, but it's called PAX West over in Seattle, where a lot of gaming companies show off their stuff and what have you. Atari's there in full bore, showing off their latest games. And now the cool thing about their latest games is coming from Digital Eclipse, one of the companies that they bought. They're coming out with some really, really cool games, which I'm going to name off in a couple of minutes here, or a minute or two. But for instance, the big major game here is Fatal Run 2084 or 2085, something like that. Which is, I guess, a remake of the original Fatal Run game that came out for both the Atari 7800 and the 2600, which is one of those dystopian future type of video games where you drive your car, shoot enemies, run them off the road, and get to the end of the thing, and to get to the end of the stage and start again for the next stage. Now, the cool thing about this new version is just it's using the Real Engine. And the graphics look fantastic for a game that's in alpha. There's some issues with it, but again, it is alpha, but it's looking really cool, and I like the idea behind it. Now, a lot of people are all, the Atari folks are up in arms because the game is scheduled to come out on every console except for the Atari VCS. Now, because the information that I've been reading is that the Real Engine won't be able to run properly on the Atari VCS, which is kind of bullshitty in my opinion, just from the stuff I've read and talked to a few developers, because the difference between, let's say, the Nintendo Switch and the Atari VCS is that the Atari VCS is a little bit more powerful than the Switch. So why aren't we getting it for the Atari VCS? We'll see. I think once they finish the game and start optimizing it, they might find a good way to optimize it for the Atari VCS, and we'll go from there. But the also, which is great. So I'm hoping that will happen. They'll see that, hey, if we squeeze a little bit here, do a little bit here, do this something here, we might be able to get it to run on the Atari VCS, which will be very cool. Now, let's see. There's one other thing that I wanted to bring up, and my day's been shot to hell, and I've been all over the place. So let's see here. There's a note here that I wanted to take. Just bear with me. Talks amongst yourselves. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing I wanted to bring up. Yars Rising, the sequel, I guess, or prequel to Yar's Revenge, is up on Steam right now. So if you got a gaming PC or a PC and you got Steam and you want to try out the demo for Yars Rising, it's there. It's available. You can try it, which will be very cool. Let's see here. So what they're showing off at the booth, they're having and hands-on games with Yars Rising, um, Rita's Rewind, Fatal Run 2089, Volgor the Viking 2, JASB, which is Chronic Blunt Punch, which is the Jay and Silent Bob type of game, which is kind of cool. I like that. That'll be kind of cool to see. Uh, do, 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 do. Exciting news in the latest Atari VCS Insider newsletter. Food Fight finally gets a full release. Yars Rising testing on the VCS, which is cool. Development of the here's some good news, folks. Development of the Atari OS on the VCS. A new team is in full control of a bunch of new features and are in testing. So they are improving the Atari OS, which is another huge thing to talk about, which is very exciting. The OS hasn't been fiddled around for a while now, but now that they have a team dedicated to updating, you know, adding more features, what have you, and making the OS really cohesive and cool, is they're working on it right now, and we're all looking forward to that. So again, if you're in the mood for an Atari VCS console, by all means, stop off at theatari.com or at atari.com and pick up your pick up a console, and you'll be ready to go. There's over 100 games for it, and a lot more coming out. Now, here's the other thing I just want to talk about. We are at the beginning of the fall, I guess, now that it being Labor Day. And this is the period of time between now and Christmas where video game companies start making announcements, start bringing out things. I mean, reading a couple of the forums for for Atari, is that that nothing has been really happening over the summer. I mean, the good thing is about that is because I was sick and there was nothing really going on there, I didn't have to drag my ass here and do a weekend report because there wasn't really anything to report. Summers are notoriously crazy in software and hardware development because everybody's busy working to get to the stage now. So just because we haven't heard too much stuff, or they've introduced some stuff at the trade show, who's to say there's a lot more stuff coming down? I mean, there's a buttload of Atari 2600 and 7800 games coming down to support the Atari 2600 Plus and the 7800 Plus, which is great. So who knows what other stuff that they got, brewing in the background that we don't know about, that we're all going to be awfully surprised to see. So that's something to look forward to. Plus, the thing I haven't heard for a while, which, I'm wondering what's going on, is that the external sort of adapters that you can plug into your Atari VCS via USB and plug your Atari cartridges into it, either the 2600 or the 7800. I know they're not going to do a 5400, so 5400 fans, what little amount there are of you there, there's not going to be anything like that for it. But it's another adapter. You can plug it in and go from there. Or maybe even a Jaguar adapter. Or maybe a Jaguar emulator so they can start, producing, selling games on the Atari VCS store. So those are still up in the air, and those are all, something we can look forward to. And, for us old guys and who grew up, with Christmases with Atari and what have you, that time of season is actually very special for people like us because it's always exciting when you get a new video game, especially when it was Atari from back then. Also, I came across something on the was it X or Twitter? I call it Twitter. I don't care if it's X. I'm calling it Twitter still. somebody said that Atari may be making an Intellivision Plus using Atari's new Plus thing, or the Plus platform that I mentioned last time. So that is something interesting to see. I'm kind of look forward to that to see if they ever do something like that. Now, is the Intellivision market big enough to produce this? I don't want to piss anybody off, but I currently don't think so. Atari is more of a brand, but there's tons of Intellivision fans out there, so I can't really say too much. So let's hope for the best. If you heard any information about this, please post a comment. Let me know. I'll be interested to see if it's really happening, and maybe I can do a little bit more digging and find out what I can find out. Yeah, so those are the big things going out right now. So it's the new games for the PC and for the PS5, PS4. And again, a lot of Atari people get all upset that these games are not just for the Atari console. Look, let's face it, business is business. If you want to make money from these things, you got to put it out for lots of different consoles. You can't forget about the Xbox. You can't forget about the PlayStations. You can't forget about the Nintendo Switch. Those people have those consoles. They want to play new games, and best way to get them to play those new games is put it on there. And if you're a PC gamer, Steam has everything on there, so you're good to go. Am I missing anything else? I think that's it. This is going to be a fairly short episode. Anyways, folks, sorry again for being a little late today. Stuff happens. And we'll see you again next week. Oh, no. Next week, next Sunday. No, next Sunday I will be here. The Sunday after that, I won't. I will be on vacation. But if there's any surprising news, I may do like a quick video on my phone and upload it that way. Anyways, folks, have yourself a good day. Don't forget the coffees. It's the most important part of the day, right? And we'll go from there. Take care, everybody, and have a good day.